I don't know. I don't know what he thinks. We got to talk about it, but I agree with some of the stuff he says and some of the root problems, not the solutions and some of the terminologies and stuff like that. I think we need to have serious conversations with the devs, and that's obviously a problem with 2K because they have no community manager. But the game is not going to be balanced until they fix certain basic things. And one of the things they're really struggling with is fast players feeling fast and slow players feeling slow, right? Also known as speed differentials. And I get how difficult that is in the half court game, but I think in the full court game, the struggle is real for 2K, and I'd like to see it fixed. So I'm just doing a little domination objective. It's obviously very easy, even on superstar difficulty, no big deal, and I'm winning by a lot. But that's not the issue here. So as you can see, Jamal Wilkes, he has a 91 speed. And what's up, everybody in the chat? Welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining. I just wanted to get into this real quick because I do want to address these issues. It's just I'm not going to spend all day complaining about these issues because I'm already aware of them. I know the developers are aware of them. And I'm not going to beat it into the ground and talk about it all day. It's like if it's bad enough for me to quit the game, then I'll quit the game. But if it's not, it's kind of like mention it, remind them about it, show some examples, and move on. So this is kind of what I'm doing. So Jamal Wilkes has a 91 speed. And Sean Bradley has a 26 speed. A 26. So that's a 70... almost a 70-point speed differential, right? You can look at the stats right here, active in-game. There's no boost going on to anybody. He has a 26 speed, and Jamal Wilkes has a 91 speed. And look at Sean Bradley in this clip. This is insane, especially since Jamal Wilkes, as a defensive player, should have the reaction time. Now, you could say, okay, he starts out a little behind him, right? And that's fair, but he's only a step behind him. Imagine in real life if this was Jokic and this was Westbrook, right? And mind you, Jokic is faster than Sean Bradley. Sean Bradley's super slow. In real life, at this point right here, Jokic stops running. He's like, yeah, that's not going to help me out. I'm just going to save myself and give up this dunk. But in 2K, Sean Bradley is literally beating everybody down court. Now, if this was a real game and I wasn't just kind of sleepwalking through this, I wouldn't even take the shot because I know this is going to happen, right? Like, I'd either stop here, and I'm not even evoing Wilkes. What's up, Wally's World? Welcome to the chat. I'm not even evoing Wilkes, so I wouldn't even normally take the shot. I try to only take shots with my evo characters, but I'm doing the daily and weekly objective, so I need to play these Mavericks and Lakers players to get the extra MT. But I normally wouldn't even take this shot because I know this is going to happen. But this is a great example. I like this. Obviously, if you play the game, you see this kind of stuff all the time. But I wanted to get one example up here where we could look at a really insane example, right? So like Jason Terry has a 99 speed, but he's not running at full speed. Now, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he has like a 75 speed or something, I think, at this point. Not sure if he's quite that fast yet. In fact, we can look at his Evo in a second. But everybody should be running past Sean Bradley, including Steve Nash for that matter, who's really just kind of step for step with him. But look at Wilkes. He cannot get ahead of Sean Bradley. Even if you incorporate the angle, that 26 speed versus a 91 speed, Sean Bradley should have no chance running end-to-end with really anybody on court because these are all fast players and Sean Bradley is super slow. So 2K, you got to fix, like seriously, in 2K21, we want to see this stopped. And then to make insult to injury, there's that little bit of slowdown as he's going up. And then there's the speed boost as Sean Bradley's jumping. He's a 7'5" player jumping like he's, that's a really, really high vertical for Sean Bradley. So in the half court, I have no problem with Sean Bradley getting a ton of blocks, but him running end to end like this, and mind you, he's been playing a lot too, so he should be tired. This also shows how bad the effects of fatigue are. What's up, Sir Jam? Welcome to the chat, man. So what do you guys think about this issue about speed differential? I think it's a really, really poor area in 2K. I understand it's very hard to control because speed could quickly become the meta, and to some degree, speed is an advantage in this game. I don't think it's enough of an advantage, but we don't want it to be broken. We don't want people running around all over the court. But I think we're too far on the other end right now where we have a 26 speed player out ahead of the pack, outrunning everybody. And one other thing I'd like to address. So I get the steal here on ball, and Sean Bradley also reacts instantly. Now, if you see this right here, the way he just turns and slides into his run, I think there should be some startup before a 7'5" big turns and starts running down court. If you look at, centers in real life, when they turn and run down court, they have to turn their entire torso and like lower their heads and start kind of moving that big body, right? But Sean Bradley just instantly gets into a run animation at the same speed as all of these other much more athletic players. And this change of direction is part of athleticism. So I think it's a complicated issue because there's a lot of things going on here. There's the passing, there's the catching, there's the speed of the ball, there's the speed of the layup. There's the reaction time to the move itself. There's the animations on the reaction time. I recognize that this is a complex issue overall. I'm just saying right now, this section of the game gets a D- to a F grade, and is really an emergency issue because the transition game in 2K is rarely fun. That's the biggest problem, is that there's sometimes when it's fun, but most of the transition game, like if this was a live game, the thing that would be happening here is I would be taking Jamal Wilkes, like if this was a serious game, and I would be trying to run around his collision box. How to do those dribbles, the quick hesitation, the boop boop, step back, blah blah blah. Yeah, Sir Jam, I'll go over a quick little dribbling thing. I'm no dribble god, but I can do a few things. So yeah, I'll go over that. If badges affect speed differential, no. Other than downhill. Well, again, so here's my thing, Cam Powell. With a 70-point speed differential, we should be able to say, well, you know what? There's a lot of issues with a 20-point speed differential, a 10-point speed differential. But once we get to a 35-point speed differential, we should expect a clear mismatch because mismatches are a problem in 2K. And here we have a case of a very, very poor mismatch because I should feel extremely comfortable with a 91 speed. I should honestly, like this guy, he should be running straight through here. He should know, oh, this dude is super slow. He doesn't even exist as far as Jamal Wilkes is concerned. Wilkes shouldn't be running this wide arc, which is another problem in the game. Wilkes running this wide arc right here. I don't mind that in the general fast break of things, but it's impossible to get him to run to this corner, right? Like the centers are much more inclined to do that than the guards. So, that's also an issue. But in this video, I just wanted to quickly address this right here with the speed differentials because a 26 speed versus a 91 speed should look really different than this. And this is something else I'm talking about, you guys, with these taller players. You see his strides? His character model is gigantic. So his feet, look at Jamal Wilkes' feet, right? He's like Stewie from Family Guy. He's like pat 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 pat. And this guy's like oh, and he's just like sliding in the middle of his run, and his run animation is just really atrocious, and they don't have a hold of it. This is a limit of the technology right now. So I'm not saying this to say like this is, oh, you guys are so bad and blah blah blah. These are two completely different characters that from an animation standpoint, and mind you, I was at one point a professional animator, they need two different run cycles, right? Like their run cycles need to be governed entirely differently. It's not just the animation, it's not just a number. That's probably the issue. They throw a number on Sean Bradley, but they can't give him a negative 26 speed. They can put the numbers 99, and they can put the numbers, 21 or whatever on these characters, but the animation system still has to have Sean Bradley be movable on the court. He can't require his entire own video game. But if you just look at his run, he's got all these hitches and slides and all kinds of craziness happening in his run to make it really unnatural. And the fact that his character model is so big, quite frankly, once Sean Bradley is at this spot right here, the triangle button or the Y button, the block button, is going to get him to contest anything that this character does here. And this is why we complain about the slow layup animations and so on and so forth, right? So that's the problem, is Sean Bradley needs to be thoroughly beat at the half court line, like in real life. Like right here, he needs to be getting a step on him at every go right here. But since Sean Bradley is matching him step for step, Jamal Wilkes, who also has a 90 dunk, by the way, has zero chance. I mean, just look at this guy, 7'5" or 7'6", just gliding through the air like Anthony Davis. Like, he shouldn't even have access to this animation at all, you know? So this is my little Gideon Prime moment, guys. I just wanted to get into that. You know, it's unacceptable. It needs to be fixed. And all of these talks about balance, it's like offensive to me that they want to nerf stuff like the behind the back when the defensive movement is so far behind, screens are so overpowered, and big men are so much faster than they're supposed to be. The behind the back is just a decent dribble move, and the only reason people are spamming it is for two reasons. One, it doesn't take enough stamina, which I agree with, and two, there are basically no other like really good dribble moves, right? Like the behind the back is a really good move, the momentum is okay, and then it starts to go down from there. So that's why people are spamming it. All of these dribble guys would love to be doing different dribbles. They just basically have no choice. And let me tell you something, when that behind the back dribble gets nerfed, you guys are going to be seeing even more screens. Like the ISO community is going to be relegated to only glitchy dribbles. And the people who can't do ISO are just going to be running you back and forth through screens. And so get ready for the future where you're hitting screens all day if they nerf that behind the back. It is not a future that you want as much as you think you want because people are just going to be spamming screens. People are always going to be spamming the most effective thing in the game. But for now, just wanted to look at these horrible speed differentials. As a 26 speed versus a 91 speed, and he can't outrun him when they start the play. Only about 2 steps apart, because Sean Bradley instantly moves without having to compensate for his large frame, and then he's able to run step for step because his run animations just have too much gliding and warping in them, and the speed differentials in this game are broken. I will be back with more videos. I will have a Larry Bird gameplay coming for you guys soon, so get ready for that. We're going to take a real deep dive into all of Larry's animations, and for those who want a little bit of dribble tutorial, I'll throw in some basic dribble tutorials right there. But I highly recommend you look up the guys who put up those dribble tutorials. I think the best one is probably Flip Z. Flip Z, he has the controller up on screen. He explains things the best. You can slow down a YouTube video to watch the white controller move, so I recommend that. But I will explain those dribbles myself so I can talk to you about some of the things people get wrong and why they struggle with doing those dribbles. So I'll give you a little breakdown, but I highly recommend looking at those videos for that kind of stuff. Thank you so much for watching. I will see y'all in the next video. There will likely be another video up today covering Larry Bird, and I might just do a team update, talk about some Evos and some other stuff. I'm looking to get Jim Jackson Evo, and I want to go over Jim Jackson's ball handling as well. All right, guys? Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.